This video will show you how to replace the ignition starter switch on a GMC Sierra 2500. This will be located along the passenger side of your steering column. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Locate the battery along the passenger side of the engine compartment. Up along the top of the battery, you're going to find that you have a metal bracket across the body. It must be removed. We'll use the 13mm for all 4 of our mounting bolts. We'll make sure we're holding onto the bracket for the last bolt. Remove the bracket, a quick inspection, set it aside. To disconnect our terminal ends, we're using a 10mm. We can see the mounting nut along the top here. Go ahead and turn that counterclockwise. We're going to turn this until the terminal end is loose enough to remove from the battery. Take hold of that terminal end, just go ahead and rock it out of position. After disconnecting that negative battery terminal, we're inside the passenger compartment. Now what we need to do is pay attention to our steering column. We have our upper plastic clamshell and our lower plastic clamshell. We're going to be removing the pair. Let's go ahead and pull on our lever, raising our steering column to the upright position. Go ahead and remove that lever next. For this, I'm just going to use a plastic trim tool. We can reach inside this area and gently pry to pull it away. Just a quick inspection of that. Just a quick note, if you do still have to move the steering column up and down for any reason, it can easily be done by your finger. You just want to be careful for any pinch points. I'm just taking hold of it, pulling it rearward. Now let's have a quick look underneath this area. You're going to find that there's 3 holes, but 2 of them have mounting bolts in them. For those, you're going to be using a T25 Torx to remove each one of the 2 screws. Our first screw port is all the way over here. The next one, if you are looking at the 2 ports leading into this area, we want the one closest to the lower panel. There's one of our mounting bolts. And there's the second. Now we'll be using a plastic trim tool. You could also try using a flathead screwdriver if necessary. Just be careful not to cause any damage. We're making our way in between the 2 panels. You should be able to gently pry. Once you have one side separated, go over to the other side, do this exact same process, gently separating, and then we can pull the lower aspect out and away. Just a quick inspection of that, make sure it's reusable. This looks good. Once you have that out of there, you should be able to remove the upper clamshell as well. We'll set that aside. The next thing we have to do is remove our ignition cylinder. That's this area here. For this, we need to have our key and a small pick. The pick is going to make its way down through this small circular port right here. What you're going to find is it only goes down so far. Insert the key, turn it to the fully cranked position. This is like as if I'm trying to start the vehicle. Now I can press down on my pick and we can see that lock cylinder making its way out. Give that a wiggle, slide it out of place. Now with that out of the way, we can continue on to removing this area. Now this does have 2 locking tabs. They're a little difficult to see. They're actually on the inboard side of this. So if I was along the back side, I would be coming straight down. You're going to find that there's a locking tab along the side. Make your way in between, gently pry to separate it. Make your way over to the other side, same thing, on the inboard side, pry it away. I'll show you what it looks like in a second here. Give that a wiggle. Now there's one of my locking tabs right there. The other one's right here. All right, so now we can see the switch. We're making our way up here, and we're going to disconnect our electrical connector. Now up in this area, you're going to find that this wiring harness actually has a small circular tab that goes straight into this area. Now what we have to do is gently pry this way, and then we should be able to gently lift up on this, just like that. Now we have this area disconnected. Let's make our way down here next. Now, as we look down in this area, we do have two locking tabs. There's one that's located right in this slot here. The second one is right in this area. Now, I'm holding onto my wiring harness and I'm lightly pulling down. I don't want to cause any damage, but I do want light pressure. I'm using my small pocket screwdriver. You can also use a pick if necessary. Just make your way in, press on the locking tab, and start to dislodge one side. Make your way over to the other. We can see the two locking tabs that I was pressing on. And that should want to pull right down and out of place. Now we have our one last electrical connector here. For this, it has a lock on it. This red lock needs to be pried upward. With that pried up, continue on to the locking tab located just below it. At this point, you should be able to press this in and dislodge it. Of course, a quick inspection for corrosion. And there it is, friend. Now, prior to installation of any brand new part, of course, we're going to make sure we clean and inspect our mounting areas. We've already inspected our wiring harness for corrosion, not much to see there. The next thing we want to do is just make our way up inside this area. I'm using a clean rag. We don't need to use any type of detergents. Typically, it's just miscellaneous dust in this area. Just go ahead and remove as much as you can. Now it's time for installation of the brand new ignition starter switch. Now, before we install this in the vehicle, there's one area that we want to pay attention to. Right up along the top area, we have this toothed area. It looks a little like a cog. Now, if you were looking at the original switch, we need to make sure that these are properly aligned. You can tell that they look a little different here. Now, for this, we want to make sure we're in the same position. For this original one, you can tell that I've already marked it. Now, if you were to turn this one way, you're going to find that it does not turn. If I turn it the other, it goes quite a bit. If I go all the way, now I'm in the fully reset position. This does look the same, but we need to have the new one look like the original. And the original was all the way in the other position. Go ahead and take hold of the new one. And now we're going to turn that cog all the way to the far position. There we are. That's as far as that goes. Now let's install this in the vehicle. Now it's time to install the brand new switch. Let's start with the electrical connector down along the bottom. Now for this, we're just going to line it up. We're pressing it towards the switch. After an audible click, a light tug to confirm it's secured, and then lock it in. Double check that. That feels good. Now we can start bringing this into position. As we bring this up towards the steering column, we need to make sure we have our two locking tabs facing towards the passenger side of the vehicle. We're pressing this in and all the way up till you hear an audible click. After that audible click, of course, we're going to give it a loving tug here. We try to pull it out. It should not move. Now it's time for our upper electrical connector. For this, we're just going to come in at a slight angle. Now we can continue pivoting this counterclockwise until it's completely locked in. Give it a wiggle. It should be able to move a little bit, but definitely not fall out of place. Now it's time for the immobilizer. Line this up. Press that on there as well. Now for this, it needs to be facing in this direction here. Now it's time to install that ignition lock cylinder. Looking at this, I have my key in position, but we want to look up along here. We can see that we have this small metallic tab. That needs to be facing upward. We're going to line this up. We're using our key. We can turn it in one direction and the other. Once you have it turned fully counterclockwise, go ahead and remove that key. Now it's going to be time to reinstall our steering column covers. We're going with the upper cover first. Along either side of the steering column, you're going to find that you have an area that you need to make sure that the cover goes along. As you're looking at the driver's side of the steering column, of course we have the area along the combination switch. On the other side, we have the area with the shift lever. This has a small rubber boot. We need to make sure that's aligned as well. Now, once you have that pressed into position, we're going to alter the height of the steering column. We'll bring it up so we can slide the lower housing down in position as well. After that, we just need to make sure everything's aligned. As I mentioned, you have the combination switch, and on the other side, the area for that shift lever. There's our housing. Let's make sure we align this as needed. Okay, there's one side. I'm just going to go over the other side, do the same thing. are. Just press that all together. Once you have that in place, we have our 2 mounting bolts along the bottom. Make sure that one's tight. Our next one. Make sure that one's tight as well. Double check to make sure this is secured in place. Let's continue on to the height adjuster. I'll slide that in there. Double check to make sure it does its job as it needs to. We're just going to take this negative, we're lining it up, we're pressing it onto the battery as far as possible. Now it's time for our body bracket. We have our 13mm headed mounting bolts. Go ahead and start all of them in before tightening any of them. Okay, friend, we finished our installation. Now the next thing you want to do is put the key in the on position, start the vehicle several times, confirming it functions as it should. Aside from that, thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.